Oklahoma's John Mateer needs to take major steps forward in reading defenses, playing with confidence and accuracy, or the Oklahoma Sooners are not going to the playoff.
Locked On presents The Portal, the daily podcast covering college football recruiting and everything NIL. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome into the Portal Podcast, where you get your daily recruiting, NIL, and transfer portal scoop. I'm Brian Smith, longtime college football recruiting analyst. Thank you for making the Portal Podcast your first listen each and every day, right here on the nation's #1 sports podcasting network, Locked On. We're going to be talking about Oklahoma's schedule, which is brutal. We're going to be talking about the weapons for John Mateer of the Oklahoma Sooners. They added 2 that are really good, but is it enough? And we're also going to be talking about 3 main areas. John Mateer, can he read the defenses better? Is he going to be more accurate? And above all else, probably, can he be more confident in everything that he does? Let's dive into that with a few main thoughts right now off the top. First off, when he was on last year. But his confidence will go from high to low very quickly. And to be very, very honest, he did get banged up early in the year. And of course, that wasn't in any, shall we say, injury report against Auburn. He was never the same. Coaches are never going to give honest answers about injury reports of quarterbacks. Never going to happen at any level. Yes, I'm sorry, Vegas. That's just the way that is. But maybe he's healthy this year. But if he's not completely healthy, not only physically, but he believes in everything that he does, it will not matter. So again, does he read defenses better? Because against Alabama, the second time they played him, he looked like a deer in headlights in that second half. After he threw that pick six, he was in trouble. Secondarily, it's about the ability to be accurate. I'm assuming that being healthy, John Mateer will be, but that doesn't guarantee anything. Number 3, it's the confidence with those 2 things together. If he believes in what he sees and he is healthy, he will be more accurate and they will make more big plays. To that end, ironically, adding former Texas wide receiver Parker Livingstone, that's one thing, but they also went out and got, many people may not know about this guy, but he's really good. A big receiver from Virginia in Trell Harris. That's another nice addition to the OU offense, but they don't have a lot of depth at wide receiver, at least not proven depth. Now, they've got talent. Somebody's going to have to step forward in probably 2 or 3 during the course of the year. That's not on Mateer. That's on Oklahoma to get those guys ready, whoever they may be. This is a very big spring practice for the Sooners. We'll see how it goes. To that end, the run game should be even better. I don't think that you could really say there's any chance that it won't be, because the offensive line is going to be a lot better. You get a center that comes in who had 2 years straight of starting at Stanford in Jake McCullough. And then you also have Eddie Pierre-Louis back in the starting lineup, Michael Fasusi, Ryan Fogier. I'm not sure if he's playing tackle or guard. We'll see. Marion Harris comes over from Arkansas. They've got other guys competing as well. The O-line should be way better. Bedenbaugh's a really good O-line coach, but now he's got some more experienced players to work with. That obviously helps. The other thing that they have is a tight end that many people probably aren't talking about, and that's Hayden Hansen. He comes over from Florida. He's 6'7", 6'8", 265, 270 pounds. That should help the run game as well. And they got Xavier Robinson, Torrey Blaylock. That's a great combo. I don't think there will be any problems running the football. You got to remember that Brent Venables is a defensive-minded coach, and that's fine. I expect them to play to what should be a top 10 defense again. They got the Bowen brothers back. They got Jayden Jackson in the middle. That right there is a great start, but they have several other pieces as well. I don't think they're going to be any worse than like 15th in the nation defense. Like that would be a low bar for them. Taylor Wine on the edge, David Stone at D-tackle. They've got plenty of guys. They will be fine. My bigger question, again, is just the style on offense. And to that, let's talk about the stats for Mr. Mateer this last year. They weren't that great. 249 to 402, 61.9%, 2,884 yards, 14 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. He would take the low-hanging fruit and kill you with it. Like if you gave him an obvious throw, he would make it. He's got a good arm. He's very mobile. He's a tremendously gifted athlete, all those things. but in crunch time, he wasn't always that guy, especially after he lost some of his mobility. Obviously, the hand injuries are part of that. That's not his fault. It is what it is. But the lower body injury that he had against Auburn, that probably didn't help much either. To that end, we need to see what he can do right off the bat because their schedule, I'll talk about that right after the break, is brutal. But 61.9% needs to be 65, 66% minimum. He's a guy that's a graduate student. He's seen it too many times now. And 14-11, I'm sorry, especially with Trell Harris and Livingstone coming in. Satania is going to be really good. He's probably still their number one. That's a good 1, 2, 3. Not sure about the depth, but they should be able to throw it around a little bit if they really have to. Again, I still think ball control is the way they will go. So with that, when we come back, we're going to talk about questions and the schedule. Can they get over the top? Can they make that move? Because if they don't, this is a team like they're not going to the playoff because I know OU fans don't want to hear this, but there's a reason that FanDuel has them at 7.5 for their win total. Let's talk about that next, right here on the Portal Podcast. Today's show is brought to you by our friends over at Mazda, moving the game forward. For those who know, the score never tells the entire story. Last year, Brent Venables and the Oklahoma defense, they created more opportunities for big plays than about anybody in the country. That is a very complex defense. But Venables and his staff, give them credit. They found a way to get the players to absorb it, utilize it, and play with confidence. That's how you win. There's more to these players than the highlights, the early mornings, late night runs, constantly showing up for their squad on and off the gridiron. The all-new Mazda CX-5 moves the same way with more space to connect, a bold new design, and more intuitive technology so you can stay connected to the road in every position you play. The all-new Mazda CX-5, more to move every side of you. We are also brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. With the NCAA tournament being here, it is the great time to get in on all the action because it's one of the most fun times of the year. Brackets, buzzer beaters, upsets, it's nonstop action from tip to final cut down. And now FanDuel is giving new customers the way to stay in the action all tournament long. Here's the best part. You can get up to $300 back in bonus bets every day for 10 days. That means 10 chances to stay involved throughout the tournament. You can mix it up however you want. You want to go with futures, if you want to talk about game picks, halftime scores, player props, whatever it is you want to do. It's the perfect time for the tournament because every day there's something new, different matchups, storylines, and more ways to get involved as the bracket unfolds. Visit FanDuel.com to sign up today. That's FanDuel.com to get in on the action. All right, let's talk a little bit about the opportunity for Mateer. We kind of went over the health situation. We think he's healthy, but he needs to be. To that end, does he read defenses better? Is he going to be accurate and then confident? Well, here are the questions that I have kind of in general. I've already talked about health, number one, for those of you watching on YouTube. But if you're not, number one is John Mateer just flat out healthy? Are we 100% sure of that? Number two, is he making on-time reads and throws from the pocket? When the entire stadium knows on 3rd and 10, you got to throw it, can he make the on-time decision and the on-time delivery? It's not something that he was consistent with last year. Number three, how much will Mateer need to run? This is the one I'm not really sure on. It's not an easy question to answer, but when he ran the ball, I think against Michigan last year, it was like 19 times. He took a beating, but he's really good at it. He is an adept runner. He's a fearless guy. Give him all the credit. But are they going to risk him getting beat up again? That's a great question. They may have to mitigate that as much as they can, and it's a fine line. Good luck to the OU staff. I do not envy him for that. Number four, how does he play at Michigan, at Georgia, and against Texas in the Red River Rivalry? Those are their three big games early in the year. They've got a couple of basic games that they're going to win, but three of their first five are teams that potentially could make the college football playoff, and Georgia and Texas almost assuredly will. If he does not play at a high level, the chances of the Oklahoma Sooners going to the college football playoff go into the dumpster because the back end of their schedule is also something that's not very friendly. They've got Florida on November 7th. That's on the road. Ole Miss and A&M the next 2 weekends in Norman. And then to finish out the year, they go to Missouri. Now, Missouri, they should beat. I will give you that. But that schedule is still very, very difficult. And I see why FanDuel went with 7.5. I think they'll go over, but you need 9 wins minimum to get in the playoff. I'm not sure how that's going to work out. Now, finally, connecting with Trell Harris and Parker Livingstone. I don't know how well that's going to happen, but he needs to hit the ground running again because of that schedule. They've got the run game. The line should be better. If they can stay healthy, this might be as much as of importance as Mateer staying healthy. Until otherwise proven, that is not a deep wide receiver room. They cannot get banged up. That's not a fair thing to say, but Oklahoma and their fans probably know this better than anyone. Anything can happen in a year. 2 years ago, everybody got hurt at receiver, and O-line pretty much too. They're due something on the other side of that. They've had so many injuries the last couple of seasons. We'll see. But that schedule is brutal. I don't think they're going to make the playoff just because even though their rosters maybe top 10 in the nation, the defense in particular it's loaded. Their schedule is not fun. I don't like the depth at wide receiver, and I need to see, no offense, I need to see Mateer make plays in the clutch after he's had a failure in a game. Everybody fails, but he had 11 picks last year, and sometimes he just really went down. He wasn't the same guy when they had a problem. So against Georgia, who's going to show him different looks, is he able to make those adjustments on the fly and do so with confidence? He's got to show me. Tell me what you think. Comment down below. And thank you once again. This has been the Portal Podcast. I love doing these previews on the quarterbacks. Mateer is one of the most intriguing players in Oklahoma, especially with that schedule and that defense. It is also very interesting. We will see you again soon, right here on the Portal Podcast.